What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king, welcoming you back to more No Man's Sky. We have a lot to talk about today. Quite a lot to discuss. So much so that I need to get out of first person because I have been playing the last little while in first person. I made a couple appearance changes to my character. We're still sticking with the anomaly race for the time being, but decided to go with a little bit of a different look. We got a lot to discuss, and not a lot of it actually has to do with what's going on here. Yes, I do have some things built in this area, but none of it's really come to pass at all because I still need to get quite a few components before I'm done here. But I've worked on the base a little bit. We made a cylindrical room here, and aside from that, I mean, I really kind of left this open-ended. We haven't progressed pretty much at all. I said in the last episode that I was going to spend a lot of time farming, and I did, but in more ways than I actually meant to. So we're going to start by heading on into our standard little hole. This hasn't really changed at all. And I'm going to fire up the teleporter. So there's two things that I want to talk about here, which are these two little spots right here. The bone farm and the mold farm. Let's start with the mold farm here really quickly, because this is the more important of the two. Commenter told me that there is this thing called runaway mold, which we've encountered once so far in this playthrough. Runaway mold is very valuable because runaway mold can be converted directly into nanites, which obviously are very important for getting things like upgrades and such. Not only that, you can actually get runaway mold from various sources, things like liquid living slime and liquid ooze and all that stuff, the viscous fluids. Those can actually be used to create runaway mold. You put them through enough of these things, and eventually it will become that runaway mold, and you can actually use it to make more nanites. So I'm gonna go into my menu here really quickly, and yeah, just show you how many nans I have right now. So I have 21,000 nanites and over 30 million units. That's a big jump from the last episode. How do I do this? Well, I decided to build a base here on a planet you may remember that's also in the Uini system called Aotic. This is the other paradise planet that was in our home system. This one had some of this stuff. This is literally runaway mold. These balls right here will generate a lot of the stuff, which I can eventually put into my different portable refiners and use those to make nanites like crazy. But guess what? This is not the only source of them. There is actually another source not too far away from here that I'm going to show off as well while I'm in the process of just kind of demonstrating how I've gotten all of these nanites. But I'm going to kind of chop these up, and we'll talk about some other things that I did between episodes as well. I probably spent about 7 hours between the last episode and this episode working on all of this, just kind of putting it together. This is a very simple little setup, but it makes a lot of sense because runaway mold, every single time you go through a teleporter, runaway mold respawns. So this little patch that I just farmed up here will be back as soon as I go through the teleporter. However, it gets better. Let's put all this in their portable refiner. I'm going to put some more carbon in there. I've also been just going crazy on all the trees out here as well, making stuff. And you can see here there's quite a few things that I have gotten a pretty big bump on, like ferrite dust and oxygen. I have way more than I did in the last episodes because I've honestly just been kind of farming things out here. But see, right here, I can make 806 nanites out of the ones that I just farmed right there. But it gets better. There's a reason I have more than just one portable refiner. I'm going to hop back in this thing again. And hopefully I'm not proving a liar by this, because this one has respawned every single time I've been playing, but we'll see if the game actually remembers. So right here, you see I got this little observatory right here. If I go just over it, just beyond here, if we can like fly a little bit past it and not go too quickly here. Ooh, okay, turn around, turn around, turn around. Look at that, right there. Whole another patch of runaway mold, and this one is even actually bigger than the one that is sitting by my base. So if I can land the owl here, I mean, this is only 500 units of distance away. I've got a ton more to work with here, and once again, I can just go to town and make, just get a lot of these. You can hold a stack of 9,999 runaway mold in each inventory slot. So I'm going to keep working on that. You're also probably noticing something else. My mining beam is going a really long time before it overheats. Well, thanks to all the nanites I gotten, because guess what? The 21,000 is not all that I got. I actually got a lot more than that. I've just actually spent, I want to say like 15,000 nanites or something along those lines during the course of all this farming. Because let's be honest, this is really tedious, boring stuff. Just doing this all day long, running through the teleporter, coming back, doing this over and over again. This is not exciting gameplay, but it is incredibly productive gameplay. So I've been doing this for a while. I pretty much went through like 2 play sessions of just like putting on movies and TV shows in the background while running around and just doing this again and again and again and again, and getting so many nanites for doing so, and then putting those nanites to work on things like my multi-tool, my exosuit, my spaceship, and just all the upgrades in the world. And yeah, they'll sometimes go down here. This is the only reason I don't like this spot a ton, is because the runaway mold actually has a spot to, well, run away to a lot more than back over by the base, so I have to kind of keep coming back. But we're going to hop back in our ship. We're going to go back towards the base now. Just kind of take it over. And you'll also notice that my launch thruster only uses 8% every single time I have to take off, instead of the previous 10. And look at that. Check this out. As soon as I come back to the base, all of the runaway mold by the base has once again respawned. I can't do this infinitely, by the way. This only works one time per teleport. But yes, if I go over there, collect that mold after farming all of this, it always respawns at least once, and then I can go back to the teleporter and repeat it. So I get basically 3 deposits of runaway mold every single time I do this. And this is why I have multiple portable refiners to break up the process, because the problem is that the amount of energy you put into the portable refiner is not nearly enough to process all of this before you got to refill it again. So I'm going to go through this one more time. We're going to go hit up the portable refiner that we've already put mold into. After I do that again, and we're just going to, I'm going to be careful because I don't want to accidentally I accidentally pick up these refiners all the time by running past them. So I'm going to put more carbon into that. And instead of going back into that, I'm going to put more carbon in there. We're going to add some runaway mold into this. I now have more than 9,909, more than a full stack there. We can begin that one. That's going to be basically 2,000 nanites. And then I think for this last one, whatever runaway mold I have left in another stack, which is, well, it's got to be more than 4, right? I'm sure it's a little more overflow than that. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. There is a lot. So there's that. And then I have another full stack that I can put in a third portable refiner. And that is not what I meant to select. There we go. And just keep doing this and letting all of them build up. And begin again. And look at, you can see it takes 20 minutes just for it to process all that, which again is more than just one fill up of carbon. So I have to kind of come back and keep repeating the process. Okay, so I am all out. Beyond that, I think we're good. All right, so those 3 portable refiners are all going to go and just do their thing for a little while. And then this is the next step of the process. Once all that's done, go into here. And then I go to the bone farm. Now, the bone farm is in a completely different system. This is actually the same system where we encountered all of the outlaws. This is where the outlaw space station was located at. This is the only planet I've discovered in the entire system. And this place is the best. And I'll tell you why. It's not the only source of ancient bones that I have access to. And I know there are technically better ways of getting units, but this has been my favorite so far, because this place in particular, while it's not like regenerating ancient bones in the same way that that planet is generating living mold, what this place does have is a few other things. So right there, metal fingers, those over that way. This has my new favorite spot for 2 things, gold and uranium. If I go over towards these metal fingers, which I'm going to do, if I can head on over that way, and I probably should have actually like selected it, so that's my bad. But if we go towards the metal fingers, let me land and let me select that, because I didn't actually highlight it on my targeting visor. Oops, that's my bad. Where are you at? Did I just go? There you are. It's over there. Okay. Yeah, let's select those and take the owl over there. These things generate a ton of uranium and gold, more than enough for my launch thruster to just last me like basically an eternity. So if I go over here, I can hit up all of these metal fingers here, and like I said, just unlimited resources in terms of gold, because these do respawn, much like the runaway mold does, which is great. But the other source of awesomeness here is obviously, and again, I can just get straight up uranium out of this. Watch how much it gives me once I'm done. I can also get ancient bones here, but what I love about the ancient bones on this planet in particular, and there you go, 247 uranium from just that one. On this planet in particular, every time I find a burial site, it's not just one bone, like ever. It's always at least like 3 or 4 bones per burial site, and this is what makes this place so freaking special. Now, hunting them down is a little bit more tricky than going after the runaway mold because I don't have set locations very much, so I still kind of have to go through the same process of taking my owl out to kind of a random spot and then just kind of plopping it down, looking at my surroundings, and then if there's any bones in the vicinity, tag it, and then go straight towards it with the owl, and then go farm them out, pick them up, and repeat. And just do this over and over until I filled up my inventory and whatnot. So, like, I'm going to drop down right here. We're going to look around in the area and see if we see any yellow little insignias that might signify that there are bones. And there we go, natural burial site. So let's get back in our owl, and we are going to go those units over to it. All you got to do is boost your way to it, and you get there in pretty much no time flat. And then once we get close, land again. This is all something I can do while all those nanites are generating, and I try not to spend too long doing this because the carbon on those is going to run out really quickly. But you'll see here, first of all, there's more middle fingers here. But second of all, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there a 5th one around here? There might be a 5th one around here if I continue to dig. But yeah, there's a bunch of bones down here. And at first, I was a little concerned because I was only finding like the really crappy kinds of bones. But as you can see, there are actually the extremely expensive kind as well in this area. The only thing you have to be careful of, and this is just more of a and look at that. Ooh, that's a big one. There we go. Intact skeleton. That one's worth over 1 million units right there. The only thing you have to be very conscious of is that when you're running around farming all of these, try not to land directly on the burial site because you can't use the terrain manipulator directly underneath your ship. And I can't tell you how many times I've blocked myself trying to get bones by accidentally doing that. But at the same time, you want to keep the ship relatively close because if your inventory is full in your exosuit and you're trying to collect things that overflow the inventory, it will send them to the ship's inventory by default, so you don't run out of space as easily. I don't know. It's kind of a little game you have to play, but that's how I have been going through and gathering units and nanites. I spent a lot more time on the nanites than I have on getting units. I should mention that because, like I said, this is a little more involved than the nanite farming. The nanite farming is a little bit more mindless, but it still is incredibly effective, and I cannot recommend doing both of these things enough. So you find 2 planets like this, you're good to go. You are pretty much set. This is my source of revenue for pretty much the rest of the game. If anyone has any ideas that beat these exact things that I'm doing, let me know. But I really cannot, like, I've done research and I legitimately can't find anything better. The runaway mold farm is practically perfect based on my research, and this ancient bone farm, while not completely perfect and not the most reliable, seems to give me the best payouts thus far. And really my only problem with farming here is this place actually has kind of a crappy weather system. It gets toxic rainstorms a lot, and the toxic rainstorms are incredibly difficult to manage. So that is probably my biggest issue with it. As soon as a storm hits up, I usually just book it back to the base and then teleport straight back to the other system. But you can see here in my exosuit, we've got nice bone stat. Look at that, 1.4 million units for that one. We got a few others that are worth like about 100,000 each. That purple one we collected is about 300,000. All is well. Let's go back in the teleporter once again, go back to the mold farm, and take a look at the progress on those. And then you can kind of just see the cadence of all this. I know this took a while to explain it all, but this is... I mean, this is really what's going to get me by for the remainder of this series, so I think it's kind of important. And this is also the kind of stuff that proves the point I was talking about earlier when it comes to No Man's Sky, in that the discovery aspect of the game only lasts for so long before you are kicked into a phase where you decide, okay, what am I going to dedicate my time to? as opposed to just kind of hopping around. Once you've found the best sources of the things you're going to need in the game, do you just stick to farming them in different ways? And, well, that's exactly what I'm doing, is just farming them in different ways. So you can see the carbon already ran out, so I'm going to have to pop more of it in just to continue the process. Move on to this one. It doesn't even get through like half of the stack before it runs out. That's why you need to be very, very careful checking it every time. I'm not going to go and farm more of this portable mold, or runaway mold, excuse me. Right now, I can save that for later. I mean, like I said, it respawns every single time I come back here, but now you get the gist of it. Now you understand what I've been doing. It's pretty darn simple. I've got everything running on a battery and 2 solar panels on both farms, so we're good to go. We are good to go. That is going to get me so many freaking nanites in the process, so many freaking units just doing that over and over and over again. So I'm going to try and hopefully not have to worry about those things too much more in the future. I'm going to be more willing to make big purchases and all that good stuff. I've also really kind of cleared out the area around my base as well, just farming everything that gives me carbon and ferrite dust and all that stuff. So it is going to look progressively more barren around here as time goes on. Anyway, with all of that said and all of that done, the last thing that I want to bring to your attention is many of the upgrades that I made. So we're basically full here. I'm going to have to go back to my base and drop some of the stuff off. I'm also going to have to hit up a trade terminal and sell some of this stuff. So real quickly, let's take a look at all of the upgrades in the exosuit. So I have a cough, apparently. Anyways, what I was saying, I have mostly phased out all of the weaker upgrades. Not all of them. We still have Artemis's translator. I don't really have a better alternative for that, so I'm leaving that as is. The radiation deflector, I'm probably going to get rid of that, but I would like to get rid of it for a different type of hazard protection unit. And then there's also the neurostimulator, but I still want to keep it for its movement capabilities. So if I can get myself another S class one, that would be a lot better. Look at the jetpack tanks, boost power, sprint distance, and recharge rate that this thing gives me. There's a couple things that the B1 actually does a little bit better, but you know, you got to kind of weigh your options and keep working on these. So I've been buying a lot of these from different space stations, upgrading everything. I've got better health and stuff. I've got better thermal and frost protection. Here, radiation protection. Really, the only one I don't have going, I believe, is toxic protection, but want to get something better than that. And then this one in particular, the oxygen rerouter, I actually want to get rid of this, possibly for one of the protection modules that I have in here. I don't know yet, but the only thing is I can't get rid of it until I've fully built it, so I'm working on that at the moment. As far as our starship is concerned, I got a few upgrades. So plasma exhaust, so now our pulse drive is more efficient. I got a little bit of a boost to our photon cannon, so that'll do more damage now. I got stronger armor, so now we have doubled up armor. Got a stronger hyperdrive now, so I was able to add more distance to our jump as well as our efficiency. I think I also increased, there was something else I increased in here for our launch thruster, which is why, so you got this one here, and then is it this one? Yeah, those two together. So these two together dropped the usage every single time I take off down from 10% to 8%, so it's even more efficient. It's basically one more jump, one more launch per refuel. Well, that's not a huge issue because I have tons of launch fuel as well as uranium, so pretty good to go on that. Then we got our multi-tool. Multi-tool, I added all sorts of stuff to it. Got my mining beam even stronger, and on top of the supercharge upgrade, this thing can last forever before it goes out of style. And then I even also boosted the pulse splitter damage a little bit more so it fires faster. So real quick, just kind of a demonstration on how long I can hold the mining beam for. Watch the bar in the top right and see how slowly it's filling up. It's so much more efficient than it was. I mean, I can hold this thing for so freaking long before it ever runs out of charge. But then we can take a look at the pulse splitter and see how much stronger this thing got. So it fires a lot faster now and also does a lot more damage. It also technically has a better and bigger clip too. So that's pretty good too. I mean, I can, what is that? 124 shots per clip. Yeah, this thing is amazing. I fought a couple of Sentinels with this upgraded pulse splitter, and now they just do not stand a chance. I can even blow my way through one of those mechs if I'm patient enough. So this is, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. We have done, or I have done pretty darn good in, what, like I said, 7, maybe 8 hours of game time between episodes, just kind of working on all this stuff, but we should be now set up for the future. So what was the task at hand? Well, we were at the moment, at least at the end of the last episode, I said I was going to farm it for the explicit purpose of continuing the main quest. Now, if we head back on over to the refuge, the only thing I want to point out that I did off screen that I probably should have done on screen was construct a cylindrical room with a terminal inside it. And I'll demonstrate that really quickly once we get there. I need to drop off stuff in my storage. Anyway, so real quick, let's get rid of a few things. A bunch of stuff if I can. So I'm going to actually get rid of a lot of these things here. We'll keep the uranium and whatnot. I'm going to get rid of those. I only bought those because they were extremely cheap at a specific terminal. I don't know if I'm actually going to use those. I think I might just end up selling this one for nanites because I got this one by... I think I pulled that out of a chest, actually. Crystal fragment, I need to break that down. Put the navigation data away. Warp hypercore. Let's put the proto-sausage away. We're almost out of space here. Mordite away. Let's see what else. Quantum computer. Phosphorus, because I already have a stack of that in there. Sodium nitrate, I already have a stack of that in there. Copper silicate powder, I think I'm good on all this stuff, although I'm going to move a few of it to my starship, which has space for that in there. So let's break all that down really quickly. So first things first, break that down. It's going to get me some more dihydrogen. We're going to transfer that to our starship because it's really the only thing that can make use of it. Put the silver on the starship as well, and the gold because those are the things that it often grabs. And then our warp hypercore can go over there, although I'm probably not going to be using it anytime soon. And I think everything else... Oh, wait. No, that's life support gel. For a second, I thought that was launch fuel for a second. All right, we're good. Now, let's get out of here. So this room right here, I did build this, and inside I created a construction terminal within. And what I'm supposed to do, if we take a look at our log, is I need to find myself a specialist researcher of some kind. Construction terminal requires a skilled overseer for operation. You can recruit overseers in space stations. So we're going to want to try and find ourselves some sort of overseer somehow. Now, how are we going to do this exactly? Well, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go into our secondary missions. You can see here, expanding the base. Staff and expand your base. Hire a base overseer. The overseer will expand your base. Staff are available to hire in space stations. I think it's taking me to the INA station miner, so I'm going to go check that out. But if just in case it's not, we're going to actually fly there manually and just kind of follow the location of where it wants me to go. So let's head on out of here. And I can't use my pulse engine just yet, so let's get on out and fly directly where we need to go. And it does look like, yes, that is indeed where I am supposed to be going. Straight to the space station. Okay, probably just could have used the teleporter, but oh well, this wasn't really a whole lot slower. Oh my goodness, I almost overshot that. There we go. So yeah, oh man, it just feels so much better to have this big cushion of things to do, and you know, now I just need to get myself a lot more like exosuit inventory upgrades from different space stations. So I'm going to probably end up doing a little bit of jumping in that regard as well, just to kind of upgrade that. And then we just need to work on our fleet as well as our base, and we need to go back to our settlement too. I actually need to check that out. That is a definite must do at some point. So let's head on in here and expect them to be in the back. What's up? Oh, we're gonna get a Gek boy. You're an exporter. Is it really you? Forgive me. I've been searching for such a long time. I'm contracted to aid you in every cycle. Don't worry. I've already talked to you, haven't I? I thought I have. But last time we couldn't do anything. Let's see. Hire construction overseer. There's something compelling about this Gek. They feel at home in my home. I will be at my station before you know it. See you soon, friend. Okay, so we've hired them. So now that that's done, we have to visit the overseer at their terminal. So let's go back to our base, and I think what I'll do is I'll take the teleporter. However, what I'm going to do before I get too crazy is I am going to go on and I am actually going to sell my thermal protection module because I don't think I'm going to use that. I already have one that's pretty much good enough. I think all this is fine. Although there is another pulse splitter module I could get. Screw it. Let's do it. Let's stack it on. Let's make our damage even stronger. I have so many to use. I mean, there's just no point in me not doing it at this rate. I know I've only got like one slot left, but I can obviously buy more slots later on or just get a better multi-tool, all that good stuff. And you're the exocraft guy, so I didn't want to talk to you. Exosuit guy. There we go. Maybe you've got something good. Also, wow, that is the first time I think I've looked at an entire sentence that I was able to fully understand in this game. Grah, weak-minded interloper, your equipment insults me. Wow, that hurts my feelings. Toxic protection is here. I think I'm actually going to pick that up just because, again, I've got all of the nanites in the world, so let's take that. And I don't think I can install that right now, but that's okay. I will keep it on standby because I'm going to be getting rid of these two soon. But I don't want to get, like I said, don't want to get rid of the radiation deflector until I get something better for radiation. I like some of these ships, man. I haven't been able to find really many better ships than what I already have. I think I found like one A-class ship because mine's a B-class. But the problem was that A-class ship had less inventory slots, and it's like, I don't know. It's really hard to like decide what's better, what's more important to me, I suppose. I almost feel like I'm at the point where I just kind of want to upgrade the Owl itself and then maybe spend some units on giving it more space, but... Well, and then also there's obviously the difference of cargo space is one thing, but then upgrade slots is another, and it's like, I don't know. I haven't been able to find much better than mine on that either, except for in like C-class ships for some reason. And look, he's here! Hello! That was fast. You have so much to learn, so much to see, and the place will be our home amidst the infinite. Take this glass and let starlight flood into our jolly home. Let's accept it. Okay, I already got glass, but we need to get frost crystal. Now, frost crystal can only be obtained on freezing planets. Everything pours through the glass in the end, but there's time enough for that. There are other things we have to do. If you prepare chromatic metal, I will use it to calibrate a science terminal suitable for a Korvax entity. The Korvax has suffered terribly at the hands of my people. Be kind to them, I beg of you. Overseer asked me to gather chromatic metal, so I think I already have enough of that. So I think what I'm going to do... can I just do it? That's the question, I suppose. Let's see. I think I have enough. Do I just have to talk to you again? Chromatic metal friend, do you have it? Our relationship is not yet clear, but it's obvious from the urgency and Gex voice they are comfortable with my inaction. I sense they have grand plans for me. Let's see. Oh, okay. Apparently I'm apologizing. How much chromatic metal do I need to get? Or did I do it? I don't know. I don't know if I did do it. The game isn't, like, being clear. Okay, return to the Overseer. Yeesh. There you are again, Traveler. I'm sure you have the required materials this time. Oh, it needed to complete it on its own, apparently, so I had to give it a second to actually complete the objective before I gave it to him. Okay, science terminal. Let's do it. Make your way to a managed structure and harvest data from their terminals. I shall use it to fashion us plans for a storage container. Okay, I mean, I already have one, but thank you. So there's that. So let's make ourselves the science terminal, and I'll just build that right there. Beautiful. Okay, now that's done. Now, as for the next objective, recruit is outside local map, local area, consult galaxy map. Oh, okay, so it's not even in this particular system. So let me get back in the Prime Owl. And I'm going to take off, but I'm actually, after I put actual fuel in it, I'm actually going to probably call this an episode, and I think we'll continue this in the next one. So I know there was a lot of just talking about things in this episode. I apologize for that, but it was obviously very important for what we're going to be experiencing later on in the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to consult the galaxy map. We're going to take a look at where it wants me to go next, and we are going to be heading to Redenit Kenzie 14 or whatever in the next episode. So guys, thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode very, very much, and I will see you all in the next one.